Hi guys, so today we're going to be discussing two different case studies regarding our business law assignment. So the first one comprises of a contract law case and it relates to SOO Burgers, which is a fast food chain who are making a loss recently, for which they have decided to run a promotion. Now the promotion states that if you consume 50 burgers from them, and if you get 50 tickets from those burgers, it will be attached to the burger, each of the tickets, and then if you collectively bring that to the outlet, you are entitled to claim one golden ticket. And if you scratch the ticket and if the ticket reveals a golden car, you win a Mazda car. Now we've got two individuals related to this case. They are Mikey and the other one is Brett. Now Mickey, he actually consumed 50 burgers and then he went to the counter and got that one golden ticket, but he did not scratch it or redeem the golden car yet because he was hospitalized due to overeating. Now the other person, who is Brett, he did not buy the burgers, but instead he decided to collect it out of the garbage bins and around the store, and he actually got 100 tickets, and then he went to the outlet and he got two golden tickets. He immediately scratched it and got two golden cars out of it. Now according to the company's rule, they are supposed to go to the headquarters when they get that golden car to claim the prize. That's what Brett does. He goes to the head office and then they ask him to wait, and then they later on tell him that the contract is not, the offer is not valid anymore. That's due to the fact that there was a printing error by the printing company, and that those tickets were not valid. So Brett was frustrated. Meanwhile, Mickey, who actually consumed the burger, found out from people and newses that the contract is not, the offer is not valid anymore, and then he actually decides to go to the headquarters, and then he saw the big note posted by the headquarters that they are not going ahead with this promotion anymore because there was a printing error. Now both of the plaintiffs here are seeking advice that whether they are entitled to the car or not. And now Annie is going to discuss the case further to see what our answers are.
I'm Annie, so I'm going to discuss about Mickey Precision, who we sketch the ticket after the offer were revoked and ignore all the overhead announcements and still pretended the ticket to the offer to claim for the golden for the car. The issue here is he breached the Australian contract law because the lack of the acceptance, and under this law agreement will not make because the acceptance of the offer did not follow all the required conditions of the office until the offer was revoked. Because in order to make any valid contract, there should be the presence of 5 important elements, and if lack of any one of those, the result will be no contract, or the other contract is non-enforceable contract. And the case similar here is Richard and Claude 1927. There is missing intention proof and there's no contract. And the second case similar here is Dickinson and Dodd 1876. There were acceptance, but it's too late, so there's no contract. And person to all the discussion above, when Suburger had made their offer, they had clearly stated that if you find any the golden ticket, just pretend it to the head office, and they didn't simply promise that I will give the car to anyone who had golden ticket or 850 burger. So with the Mickey, he had missed the very important condition here is to pretending his ticket to the head office, and mission of bride, when mission of bride, there is when Miss Mickey arrived to the office, the offer were revoked, and they have publicly made the offer revocation. So the conclusion is here is there will be no the conclusion is there's no acceptance, and the for Mickey and the Superga will not obligated the reward to Mickey. So the next press position will present by DG.
Yeah.
In Brett's case, the issue is whether the company is liable to reward him as promised despite the offer was revoked. Under Australian Consumer Law Section 32, a company or a person in trade cannot offer a reward without the intention of providing it, and a promised reward has to be provided by the company. Therefore, when SOO Burgers stated that if you find a golden card ticket, you have to present it at the head office and win the prize, they had intention to make a binding promise for which they are liable. There was no conditions or announcement made that whether it is for a single winner or there could be multiple winners. Like in the case of Carlyle versus Carbolic, 1893, Gibbons versus Proctor 1891, and Williams versus Cavadine 1833. The judgment was that if a reward is promised in the advertisement and the terms are fulfilled, the reward has to be provided. When Brett found 2 cars and presented them at the head office, he automatically became eligible to claim the reward, and the offer was only revoked when he was in the head office after he had presented the tickets. Therefore, in conclusion, we can say that if SOO Burgers refuse to provide him with the reward, they are in breach of Australian Consumer Law Section 32 and also Australian Contract Law.
Alright guys, now let's move on to the second case, which relates to corporations law, and it comprises of a company named Joytronics, which involves 3 shareholders and directors named Mercedes, Felix, and Greg. Now the case is about these 3 directors and how if they have breached the laws of due care and diligence and insolvent trading. Now what happened was the company itself was making a loss due to the fact that there was a competitor who started a new store next to them, and because of that, Joytronics was making a loss. Now they collectively decided that they should open and relocate their store, a new one, and they started looking for a new warehouse for that. Now the person who was in charge of that was Greg. Greg was the one who was looking for the warehouse, and he actually just looked at one of the warehouses and decided to go with it. It was in Parramatta. And then he came to the other 2 shareholders, and then he discussed that yes, this is the place that they should relocate and open the new store, and they'll be making a lot of profit. Now the other person, who is Mercedes, was unsure of his decision. She didn't know whether it was a good choice, considering that the price of the warehouse was above their budget. And Felix, on the other hand, was not very keen on knowing the financial condition of the company, and he just decided to went on with what Greg had proposed. Now, after 3 months of operating in the new store, they found out that they were making significant amount of losses, and now the issue is whether Felix and Mercedes are breaching the law of due care and diligence, and whether there is any liability that they hold in regards to insolvent trading, and the case is going to be further discussed by Gurpreet. Thank you.
The laws that are applicable for this case are the common law and the statutory law. Under the common law, the duties for the directors are to act in good faith, to act in good faith in company's interest, use powers for proper purpose, to avoid conflicts of interest, to use care, diligence, and skill. And as per to statutory duty of officers are to act honestly under section 181, to use care and diligence under section 180 subsection 1, to not misuse information under section 183, to not misuse positions, that is under section 182, to prevent insolvent trading under section 588G. The section 180 under subsection 2 of Corporation Act 2001 protects director and officers against liability for breach of general law and statutory law for the duty of care, but it doesn't protect against liability for other breaches. And section 588G of Corporation Act 2001 imposes the duty of directors to prevent insolvent trading. Under this, the person is a director of a company when company incurs a debt and the company is insolvent at the time when they are incurring the debt, and there are reasonable grounds for suspecting that the company was insolvent or would become insolvent at the time of debt when the debt was occurred, and the person is aware of such grounds, or a reasonable person is like position and some circumstances would be aware. And the rest of the presentation would be given by Navpreet.
Okay, regarding if Mercedes has breached the condition of care and diligence, so yes, Mercedes has breached the condition of care and diligence under common and statutory law. As a director, the law requires you to act with the care and diligence expected from a reasonable person in the same role and same circumstances. All company directors should ensure that they are properly informed about the business, that they are acting in the company's best interest. As while taking decision, she was unsure at first and wanted to look at the other options as well, but she neglected this and approved Flex recommendation without checking if they are accurate. And regarding if the decision of Mercedes to agree the purchase of the new premises was protected by section 180 subsection 2 or not. No, her decision to agree to purchase the new premises was not protected by section 180 subsection 2, as Mercedes may accept Flex advice in good faith, but she should have done the independent assessment and of the information or advice. When Flex told her about the options to relocate business, she should have asked him if there are other options as well, and if he had checked all of the options and compared all of them and had chosen the best from them. Section 180 subsection 2 only applies to prevent liability for breach under common and statutory law, but does not apply to liability of other breaches, example insolvent trading. And regarding if Mercedes is liable for breaching section 588G of if Joytronics become insolvent or not. So yes, she is liable for breaching section 588G if Joytronics become insolvent, as section 588G states that the person is a director of a company when the company incurs a debt, and at time when company was incurring a debt, Mercedes was indeed a director of the company. And the second condition is the person fails to prevent the company for incurring the debt. Yes, Mercedes failed to prevent the company, as she knew relocating the business is a crucial decision to take at that time, which will affect company's performance, but she neglected to analyze the advice and blindly followed Flex recommendation, which resulted in insolvency of the company. Regarding Greg, if he has breached his duty of care and diligence or not, Greg has breached his duty of care and diligence like Mercedes because he also neglected the financial matters and agreed to the flex recommendation to relocate company without making individual assessment and looking into other aspects. He may be liable to pay the compensation equal the company of loss or damage in relation to the debt because of the company's insolvency. The consequences, in the conclusion, we can say that the consequences for breach of director's duties are serious and could lead to personally liable for the company's debt. And regarding Greg and Mercedes, they had failed to comply with their obligations, and there are serious consequences which may include up to 5 years jail time, penalty up to $200,000, disqualification for managing a company, and person responsible to pay off the company's debt. Thank you.